How's it going? I'm Visionary. This is Visionary Decks, and today we're going to be taking a look at day 3 of card reveals for the Glory in Navori expansion. Alright, so our first card is a 2-mana 1/3 from P&Z, Flashbomb Peddler. Okay, when you play a spell, plant 1 Flashbomb trap randomly in the top 8 cards of the enemy deck. Interesting. So they just decided to copy Puffcat Peddler. He has a 2-mana card, and he does have the same amount of health. I honestly think this is the first Flashbomb card in the game that you can play in a non-Flashbomb deck. This guy seems extremely good, I'm going to be honest. Just having the ability to like randomly ping an enemy unit is really good, especially if you're playing P&Z Noxus. Maybe something like the Ezreal Annie Broadmain deck would really like this because it just automatically sets up the opponent's units to be damaged, which means you just get your free kill on them with Caustic Rift or whatever else you want to target them with. And that's really good, especially for 2 mana. Like, that's not bad to just have free pings on the enemy units. Even if you're not playing Broadmain, just having like a free Ravenous Flock on a random unit because it got hit by a Flash Bomb is huge. I also think this would probably fit like a Go Hard P&Z deck really well. Basically any deck that's just like pinging the opponent's units over and over and over again is probably going to work super well with this guy, because this guy's just like free extra damage. Every time you play a Go Hard, you're doing 1 damage, and you're also queuing up another damage for later because you're planting a Flash Bomb, and that's huge. Obviously this guy also works pretty well with coins, because it's just like a 0 mana spell if you think about it, right? It's 1 mana, give you back 1 mana, so you're not spending any mana. It's just like a free way to trigger spell stuff, which is really good with this guy. This might be a weird idea, but I also do feel like this guy might be kind of good in a very specific type of Overwhelm deck. And the reason is Flash Bombs convert to Overwhelm damage, right? So like he's just going to give you extra Overwhelm damage every time your units hit face, which is kind of good. And he's a pretty compact way to do that. The only problem is like there aren't any Overwhelm units that create spells that I can think of. I don't know, maybe play this guy with like Victor and Ballistic Bot and then Overwhelm. There's honestly a lot of really good ways to make use of this guy with engines like Ballistic Bot, Victor. Song Spinner is a fantastic card with this guy. Honestly, just a super good card for P&Z overall. But thankfully, he does die to Quietus. So if you're seeing a lot of Flashbomb Peddlers on the ladder this season, maybe put Quietus in your deck. You probably want to play a deck with Quietus. All right, moving on to our next card, a 4-mana P&Z follower, Augmented Clockling, which is weird because this should be a Shurima card, but it's in P&Z, obviously. You can see Echo in the background, which is kind of cool. Also, that's a very expensive Clockling. This is an elusive. Play, predict, then draw 1, and reduce its cost by 1? Wait, why though? I guess it's 4 mana, so like for an elusive that is pretty expensive, but why does it have to be elusive? Like, this would be good as just a, I don't know, a 3-mana card with no keywords, or a 3-mana card with augment. It's called Augmented Clockling. Like, why does it have elusive and not augment? I don't understand that. I mean, P&Z absolutely needs more predict cards. It's always just lacked predict cards in general ever since Echo came out. People kind of figured out very quickly, like, there's just not enough predict in P&Z to play an Echo deck with any other region than Shurima. Like, you have to play Shurima if you're going to play Predict deck. So hopefully, I don't know, maybe this fixes that. I think we still probably need like 1 or 2 more Predict cards in P&Z. This one's also very expensive. This is not going to help because this comes down on the same turn that Echo would. I guess drawing 1 and reducing its cost by 1 is pretty solid. That effectively makes this like a 3-mana card that draws 1. I don't know. I really don't know how to feel about this card. This seems like it could be very good with Bard. Honestly, that's where my mind goes with like what card you would want to pair it with. If this got hit by Chimes, it's kind of insane because it is an elusive that draws 1 and makes the card you draw cheaper, which is really good for Bard. If there's 2 things Bard wants, it's elusives and it's draw. Like, those are the #1 things Bard wants as a champion. And yeah, for this one, dude, I'm going to say the best deck you can build with Augmented Clockling is Bard P&Z. Is Bard P&Z going to be a good deck? I don't know. But if there's like any way to make this card the best it could possibly be, that's got to be it, right? Just pump it up with Chimes. It draws 1. Maybe it'll draw you some more Chimes. Might be good. I don't know. All right, moving on to Secret Keeper. Is that Zilean? Did they just print Zilean as a follower? Is that okay? Is it something we're doing now? It's just Zilean, but he's wearing white. I don't know. Is this like a Gandalf situation? Did Zilean die? Now he came back as a 2/4? He got +1 power, guys. And +1 cost. Look at that. That's crazy. When I'm summoned, create at the bottom of your deck 2 random level 2 champions that aren't in your hand, deck, or play? Wait, what? What in the world? This is like a Path of Champions card. How is this an actual thing they just printed? This is when he's summoned too. So like if you play this with Callista or I don't know, Soulcleave or Dawn and Dusk, you're just gonna be getting like random Aurelion Souls, Gangplanks. You get like a Nora here and there, Trundles. Like, how is this is not gonna be balanced. It does create at the bottom of your deck, but obviously you just predict, and then the entire order of your deck is shuffled. The fact that it creates these at the bottom of your deck literally just means, oh, okay, let me play a 1-mana predict follower. And now they're not at the bottom of my deck anymore. Yeah, honestly, I feel like the best way to play this guy has got to just be with Shadow Isles, probably Soulcleave and Callista. Very fun card. The fact that he's 3 mana is like the perfect cost, in my opinion. He's not too strong, he's not too cheap, but he's also not too expensive. If he was 4 mana, that might be a little bit too much. I think 3 mana is definitely a sweet spot. I don't know, they literally just printed Howling Abyss as a unit. This is crazy. This has got to be like the #1 best meme card in the game now. This is insane. All right, moving on to our next card, another Shurima follower. This is a 7 mana 0/7 with Overwhelm. Fallen Sands General. So this better have a very powerful ability. I have +1/+0 for each ephemeral ally you've summoned this game. Okay, yeah, that's pretty broken. That's gonna be a 7/7 at the very least. Probably like an 11/7. Honestly, I feel like this is going to make Azir Hecarim like an actual deck again. This is basically just like a second Hecarim that drops on turn 7. So if the opponent like vengeances your Hecarim turn 6, oh, got another one, except it's 7 cost. That's kind of weird. Also, it's from Shurima. Here he comes, 11 attack. I feel like this is always going to have like double digits attack when it comes down. There are so many ways to just summon like a stupid amount of ephemeral units. I'm thinking like Shark Chariot, Black Flame, Dragonlings. There's a lot of ways to just like cheat out ephemeral units super quickly besides Sand Soldiers. And I don't know. This seems extremely powerful to me. It's kind of crazy. I'm not going to lie. This is kind of nuts. All right, here we go. Vandal City time. This is a 2 mana 1/3 with Quick Attack and Augment. Carved Bladetwirler. This one's very strange. Honestly, not that bad. To be fair, like it's pretty easy to get things to high attack very quickly with Augment. And the fact that this will just be like, I don't know, a 5/3, probably turn 4, is pretty solid. This is just like a quick attack card that scales with you the entire game, as long as you built your deck correctly. And even though like you might think of Augment as a PNZ word, there are plenty of ways to trigger Augment in like every region at this point. I honestly feel like this is a Bandle City card that might just be played in every Bandle City deck, no matter what it is. Like unless your deck just has nothing to do with created cards whatsoever. You could also play this with Coral Creatures, and every single time you steal a spell from the opponent and create a copy of it, both of those are going to be +1 on this, which is insane. I do feel like Coral Creatures is sort of like lacked a win con on its own, and I feel like this is enough to like actually win you the game, because if you're stealing cards from the opponent over and over and over again, you're going to get this to like 10 attack very quickly, especially if you're playing Otterpuss, which creates a prank, and then you prank, and then the prank creates 2 cards. We play a Trinket Trade, which creates an Otterpuss and creates a like there's just so much creating cards in a Coral Creatures deck. I know this card seems weird at first, it probably just seems bad because it has no ability, but I actually feel like this is a super solid card. All right, moving on to Pie Toss. That pie looks kind of good, I'm not gonna lie. 1 mana, Bandle City, fast speed spell. All right, so you deal 1 to a unit, and then you spend 2 mana slow to deal 1 to anything. This is a weird card. Like, I feel like if Perilous Pastry cost 1 mana and maybe wasn't slow, but at 2 mana, like, I don't think you ever play this second card. It just never gets played. There's already, like, enough 1 damage pings in Bandle City. You're never going to choose this over Pokestick or even Group Shot. Like, Group Shot is just better than this. I really don't understand this card. I feel like this card had to be printed with, like, some other ability than just deal 1, deal 1. Like, it's just way too vanilla. This is the worst card they've revealed so far. This is just, without a doubt, like, the most unplayable card this entire expansion. I don't know what they were thinking with this one. Well, that's all the cards for today. I'll see you guys tomorrow for day 4 of card reveals. Peace.